In today's hyper-connected world, human history is meticulously documented in real time, thanks to social media and the internet. Events are captured from every angle and shared with millions at the click of a button. However, throughout most of history, there were no smartphones, social media, or real-time documentation. Many extraordinary stories have slipped through the cracks, only to be discovered by historians later, or sometimes lost forever. These stories, though fascinating, are largely unknown to the world today. Here are 5 bizarre and incredible tales from history that you've probably never heard of. The Night Witches, fearless women of the Soviet Air Force. One of the most remarkable, yet relatively unknown stories from World War II is that of the 588th Night Bomber Regiment, famously known as the Night Witches. These Soviet women, often forgotten by history, played a crucial role in the fight against Nazi Germany, defying both the enemy and their male counterparts. At the outbreak of World War II, the Soviet Union allowed women to serve in the armed forces, but they were relegated to auxiliary roles like nurses, engineers, and navigators. However, a pioneer named Marina Raskova, often referred to as the Soviet Amelia Earhart, had other plans. Raskova was a skilled aviator, and after receiving countless letters from women eager to fight, she took action. Seeing the tremendous toll the war was taking on the Soviet Union, Raskova wrote directly to Joseph Stalin, asking him to allow women to serve in combat roles. In a surprising decision, Stalin agreed, and 3 all-female aviation regiments were formed, the most famous being the 588th Night Bomber Regiment. These women, known as the Night Witches, flew outdated, slow biplanes made of wood and canvas. The planes were laughably under-equipped compared to modern fighter aircraft. They had no parachutes, radios, or advanced weaponry. However, their simplicity worked to their advantage. The lightweight planes allowed them to fly low and quiet, outmaneuvering faster German aircraft. The Night Witches carried out dangerous night raids, flying between 8 to 18 missions per night. Their tactic was simple yet terrifying. They would cut their engines and glide silently toward German camps, dropping bombs before restarting their engines and vanishing into the night. The Germans were so rattled by their stealthy raids that they nicknamed these women the Night Witches in fear and awe. By the end of the war, these incredible women had flown over 30,000 missions and had a lasting impact on the war effort. Despite facing intense sexism and ridicule from their male counterparts, the Night Witches proved themselves as formidable warriors. Many of them were awarded the prestigious Hero of the Soviet Union title, the highest honor in the Soviet Union. 4. Maria Oktyabrskaya, the fighting girlfriend, who bought her own tank. Another story of female heroism during World War II, yet even more extraordinary, is that of Maria Oktyabrskaya, a name rarely spoken today, despite her incredible achievements. Maria's story begins not in glory, but in tragedy. Born in a small Ukrainian village in 1905, Maria grew up under harsh conditions. Her life took a turn in 1925 when she married a Soviet cavalry officer, Ilya Oktyabrski. Maria adopted her husband's surname, which they chose in honor of the October Revolution, a testament to their loyalty to the Soviet cause. Over the years, Maria became deeply involved in military life. She learned to drive, handle weapons, and perform repairs, unusual skills for women at the time. She often said, "Marry a soldier, and you serve the army." Her seemingly ordinary life came to an abrupt halt in 1941, when her beloved husband was killed during the defense of Kiev. For 2 years, the Soviet government withheld the news of Ilya's death from her, but when Maria finally found out, something inside her changed. Overcome with grief and a thirst for vengeance, she made a decision that shocked everyone. She would buy herself a T-34 tank and join the front lines. Maria sold all of her possessions and raised 50,000 rubles to buy a tank, an unprecedented act for a Soviet woman. She approached the Soviet military with the offer, and after seeing her resolve, they agreed. Her tank, which she named Fighting Girlfriend, became famous on the battlefield. Maria was more than just the driver. She fought bravely alongside her male counterparts, using her tank to lead assaults across Nazi-occupied territory. In January 1944, while performing repairs on her tank, Maria was mortally wounded. She died from her injuries shortly afterward, but her legacy lived on. Maria Oktyabrskaya was posthumously awarded the Hero of the Soviet Union, a rare honor for a woman at that time, and she became a symbol of the strength and resilience of Soviet women in war. 3. Nellie Bly, the woman who went undercover in an insane asylum. While most people today have never heard of Nellie Bly, her daring work changed the course of investigative journalism. Born Elizabeth Cochran Seaman in 1864, Bly became a journalist in an era where women were rarely seen in the newsroom. But her courage and tenacity led her to take on one of the most dangerous undercover assignments in history. In 1887, Bly found herself struggling to find work in New York City. In a last-ditch effort to secure a job, she approached the famous newspaper magnate Joseph Pulitzer, who gave her a challenging and shocking task: to go undercover in the women's lunatic asylum on Blackwell's Island and report on the conditions inside. Bly faked insanity to get herself admitted to the notorious asylum, where she endured horrific conditions for 10 days. She was subjected to freezing baths, spoiled food infested with vermin, and unsanitary conditions that shocked even her. She later published her experiences in a book titled 10 Days in a Madhouse, which sent shockwaves through New York and the rest of the country. Her report exposed the terrible treatment of patients in the asylum, leading to significant reforms in mental health care and improving the lives of countless individuals who had been subjected to cruelty. Nellie Bly's courage not only changed the way mental health institutions were run, but also set a new standard for investigative journalism. Her work remains a milestone in the fight for both social justice and women's rights. 2. Percy Julian, the forgotten pioneer of science. Percy Julian was a brilliant chemist whose groundbreaking work should have made him a household name. However, the pervasive racism of early 20th century America largely erased him from history until recent decades. Born in 1899 in Montgomery, Alabama, Julian faced enormous obstacles as the grandson of formerly enslaved people. Despite the immense prejudice he faced, Julian excelled academically and went on to attend DePauw University, where he graduated at the top of his class with honors in 1920. However, his dream of completing his PhD at Harvard University was shattered because the university refused to accept black students in their PhD programs. Undeterred, Julian eventually moved to Vienna, where he obtained his doctorate and formed a lifelong partnership with fellow chemist Joseph Pickel. Together, they returned to DePauw, where Julian made a discovery that would change the world. He synthesized physostigmine, a chemical used to treat glaucoma. Julian also pioneered techniques for synthesizing hormones like progesterone, testosterone, and cortisone, making these life-saving treatments more accessible. Despite his enormous contributions, Julian faced constant rejection from universities and companies due to his race. It wasn't until he joined the Glidden Company that his talents were finally recognized. In 1973, Percy Julian became the first black chemist inducted into the National Academy of Sciences. His scientific legacy lives on today, even though he was overlooked during his time. 1. Forgotten Rome, the mystery of Cahokia. When we think of ancient civilizations, we usually picture Greece, Egypt, or Rome. But hidden within the heart of North America is the ancient indigenous city of Cahokia, one of the largest and most sophisticated cities of its time. Located near modern-day Collinsville, Illinois, Cahokia flourished between 600 and 1400 AD and was home to a population of between 8,000 and 40,000 people, larger than London in 1250 AD. Cahokia was a major trading and cultural hub for indigenous groups across North America, including the Natchez, Pensacola, and Choctaw peoples. Its residents built complex structures and mounds, some of which still stand today as part of the Cahokia Mounds State Historic Site. What makes Cahokia particularly intriguing is its mysterious abandonment around 1350 AD. The city was thriving with no signs of war, famine, or disease. Yet within a few years, the entire population vanished, leaving behind a ghost city. Historians are still unsure what caused the sudden exodus, and Cahokia remains one of America's most enigmatic ancient sites, often referred to as the Forgotten Rome. Today, Cahokia is one of only 20 World Heritage Sites in the United States, and though its ruins are relatively unknown to the world, They stand as a testament to the ingenuity and sophistication of ancient North American civilizations. These stories are just a small sample of the countless tales from history that have faded into obscurity. Whether it's the bravery of Soviet women during World War II, the incredible journalism of Nellie Bly, or the mysterious ruins of Cahokia, history is full of strange, inspiring, and sometimes terrifying stories that remind us how much we still don't know about our past.